Assalamu alaikum. Okay, can everybody hear me? Inshallah, I hope that everybody can hear me. How's everybody doing? It's the end of the week. Is everybody getting emails about like how school's gonna start soon? We have, tomorrow I have to go to the local elementary school to do like a meet and beep is what they're calling it. And the kid, the student's gonna get to know who their teacher is, and they're going to get to pick up their device, and it's gonna be interesting, inshallah. So our district is gonna start school. We're in CCISD. Our district is gonna be starting school, inshallah, next week. So we're not gonna know the exact times until tomorrow as far as like what time the day ends. So once I know the times, I'll be letting y'all know as soon as possible, like, if that's gonna affect our time that we meet at all. It might affect it just a little bit, inshallah. But I know we're all in the same boat, so inshallah we'll try to make it work. So looking forward to that. But yeah, it's back to studying again, huh? Back to getting serious. Okay, so we are now on the last section of juz number 2. Let me share my screen. And here we are. So hopefully you can see my screen. What are the topics? So we're still in Surah Al-Baqarah. The verses that we're doing today are 231 to 253. And what are the topics in this section? Honestly, among the 5 pages, there's 2 or 3 pages that really have like laws and regulations about divorce. It also talks about how the mother shall nurse for 2 years. It does talk about something called the idda period, which is after a woman's husband dies. This is a Kahoot question. After a woman's husband dies, 4 months and 10 days, there's something called an idda period. And in that period of time, it's like a time of respect, where it's like a transition from her being a married woman to becoming a widow. And not gonna go into like the details of what that would mean, but it's just a time period. And I'm just gonna ask on the Kahoot, what is that called? When a woman's husband dies, following that, there's a time period in which, it's just kind of like a respect, and that's called the idda period. We also learn about on the 3rd page among the 5, to guard your prayer very strictly, and it refers to the middle prayer. It says guard your prayers, especially the middle prayer. So we know that among the 5 prayers, Asr is that middle prayer. Why do you think that that would be specifically mentioned? Well, if you think about it, makes sense, because when you're going about your day, that's a very busy part of the day, right? So that's kind of like you're getting off of school, you're getting your ride home, right? You're transitioning, maybe you're in after school. Some people are stuck outdoors still at work. So that middle prayer, you have to be really careful to catch that middle prayer. It's also not a very long prayer either. And then we also learn that prayer is it is so incumbent on us to keep up with our prayers that even if you fear an enemy, you still have to keep up with your prayers. So even if you fear an enemy, you have to do some sort of a prayer. You're still accountable for that. That's also a Kahoot question. Also, there's a beautiful verse about loaning to Allah a goodly loan. So, the analogy of a loan. In the past, we had several analogies about buying and selling, right? But this one is a different analogy, right? So when you loan to Allah a goodly loan, so the concept of a loan, usually you think of giving something from yourself and having this promise that you're gonna get it back, right? So we learn about this beautiful analogy that when we give anything from ourselves, that Allah gives it back in a much greater fashion. And so that is an analogy that's presented. We also learn about Talut, Musa, Harun, David, and Goliath. Towards the very end of the 5 pages, there is some information about that. In fact, I'm just gonna read a little bit straight out of the Yahya Emirate, because I think that it's explained pretty well. So whenever it gets to that section of the juz, let me tell you what it says. So we talked about not to neglect the middle prayer. We talked about some of that. Let me go. Okay, so the children of Israel ask for a king. So I'm just gonna, read from this book that we've done before, just to give you a better description. It says, have you ever considered the chiefs of Israel who came after the time of Musa? They said to a prophet named Samuel, set up a king for us and then we'll fight in the cause of Allah. Samuel, sensing their duplicity, replied, and maybe when you're commanded to fight, you won't fight at all. They insisted they would, however, by saying, why wouldn't we fight in the cause of Allah? We've been driven from our homes and our families. Nonetheless, when it came time to fight, they turned back, save for a few among them. Allah knows who the wrongdoers are. When their prophet told them, Allah has chosen Saul to be your king, they objected, saying, how can he be made our king when we're more qualified than he is to rule? He's not even rich enough. Allah has selected him over you. He answered and endowed him with knowledge and talent. Allah gives the right to rule to whomever he wants, and Allah is infinitely more knowledgeable than you. Then their prophet said to them, you'll see a sign to prove that leadership is his right, in that the Ark of the Covenant will be given back to you, within its tranquility from your Lord, for it contains the relics of the families of Musa and Harun. It will be carried back to you by the angels themselves. This will be your sign if you really have faith. When Saul set out with his army to face the Philistines, he addressed his men, saying, Allah will test you by that stream. Whoever drinks from it won't be allowed to march any further with me. Only those who abstain from it will go with me, or who, at the very least, drink only a sip from their hand. All of them, save a few, drank from the stream. Then after they crossed over the stream, the few remaining faithful soldiers lamented, we are no match for Goliath and his army today. However, those who were certain they would meet Allah one day said, how many were the times when a small force defeated a larger one by Allah's will? Allah is with those who persevere. As they advanced upon Goliath and his forces, they prayed, our Lord, pour determination down upon us. Make us stand firm and help us against a nation that rejects faith. And so by Allah's will, they routed them, and David killed Goliath. Allah also gave David leadership skills, wisdom, and whatever else he wanted to teach him. If Allah didn't allow one people to deter another, then the world would be filled with turmoil. But Allah is infinitely bountiful in the entire universe. Okay, so that's just a little section about that last page that we're going over today. So let me show you what the pages look like in the Quran. So this is what it looks like. We're just here, 231, here 237. And those two pages have a lot of heavy rulings and such. And then we have here on 238, guard strictly the habit of prayer, especially the middle prayer. Here we learn about, Talut, David and Goliath. And we end at the end of the juz right here, 252, okay? And so here, by Allah's will, David and Goliath. So that's where that juz actually ends on 252. And now we're actually gonna go on to the verses, translate. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. If anybody would like to volunteer, just let me know. Let me go ahead and get started. So here we say, Hafidhu ala salat, be watchful over the prayers. Hafidhu, to be watchful, ala salat, over the prayers. Was-salatil wusta, and the prayer, which one? The middle prayer. So the adjective follows the noun. Wusta is the middle prayer. Waqumu, and stand up. We have Lillahi qanitin, for Allah devoutly obedient. فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ, and if you fear, فَرِجَالٌ, on foot, أو رُكْبَانٌ, or riding, فَإِذَا أَمِنْتُمْ, and when you feel secure, فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ, remember Allah. So in other words, if you fear an enemy who is riding or on foot, then when you feel secure, remember Allah, كَمَا عَلَّمَكُمْ, and He has taught you, مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا, that which you did not, تَعْلَمُونَ, know. وَالَّذِينَ يُتَوَفَّوْنَ, and those who die of you, وَيَذَرُونَ أَزْوَاجًا, and leave wives, وَصِيًّا, should make a bequest, لِأَزْوَاجِهِمْ, for their wives, مَتَاعًا, for maintenance, إِلَى الْحَوْلِ, for 1 year, غَيْرَ إِخْرَاجٍ, without turning them out. فَإِنْ خَرَجْنَا, but if they leave, فَلَا جُنَاحَ عَلَيْكُمْ, then there is no sin on you, فِيمَا فَعَلْنَا, in what they do, فِي أَنفُسِهِنَّ, for themselves. Notice that hinna is a female pronoun, hinna. فِي أَنفُسِهِنَّ مِن مَعْرُوفٍ, in an honorable manner. وَاللَّهُ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ, and Allah is almighty and all wise. Okay, and right here we say وَلِلْمُطَلَّقَاتِ for divorced women مَتَاعٌ is a provision بِالْمَعْرُوف on a reasonable scale حَقًّا a duty على المتقين on the pious كَذَلِكَ يُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ آيَاتِهِ thus Allah makes for you clear His injunctions or His laws لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ so that you may understand. أَلَمْ تَرَى have you not looked إِلَى الَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا those who went forth مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ from their homes. Remember this word dar. Dar means home, right? So from their homes. وَهُمْ and while they uluf like alif, right? Alfa. Uluf were in thousands. حَذَرَ الْمَوْتِ fear of death. فَقَالَ and said لَهُمُ اللَّهُ Allah to them, mutu, die, thumma ahyahum, then He revived them. Inna Allah ladu fadlin ala nas. He revived them. Indeed, Allah is bounteous or gracious to mankind. Walakinna akthara, but most nas of the people, la yashkurun, do not give thanks. Okay, so would anybody like to volunteer? Let me see if I have any hands here. Maryam Anjam. Okay, Maryam. So it says waqatilu. So we've heard this word before. Qatilu, qatala, to fight or to kill. Waqatilu. What is fi sabilillah, Maryam?
Fi sabilillahi.
Oh, you can see my screen, right? Right here, where it says fi sabilillah.
No.
You cannot see my screen.
See it.
Oh my goodness! You're telling me that all this time you couldn't see my screen. Okay, that's. I'm so sorry. I thought you could see my screen all this time. Okay.
There we go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I apologize about that. I assumed you could see it because it says on my screen, but alhamdulillah, we'll keep going. Okay,
Where
so
were we?
waqatilu and fight fi sabilillah. What is fi sabilillah, Maryam?
In the way of Allah.
Yes, in the way of Allah. وَعَلَمُوا and know أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. Can you tell me أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ?
And know that Allah is all hearer, all knower.
Very, very good. So yesterday we went up to just أَنَّ اللَّهَ سَمِيعٌ, which is that Allah is the hearer. And now we're adding alim. So He's the hearer and the knower. مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي who is the one يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا who lends to Allah alone, hasanan, goodly, فَيُضَاعِفَهُ so that He will multiply it for him, lahu for him, أَضْعَافًا in times, كَثِيرًا many. وَاللَّهُ يُقْبِضُ and Allah straightens or decreases, وَيَبْسُطُ and amplifies or increases. What is وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ, Maryam?
And to Him you will be returned.
Yes. Okay. So there's how many words here? Wa is and, ilay to, he is a preposition him, turja'un, you will be returned. Okay. So here is the verse about the goodly loan. So whenever you give anything to Allah, the beautiful thing is Allah is acknowledging that anything that we give Him is ours, right? So when you share something of yourself, first of all, it's like you feel respected, like Allah is respecting what you give because whatever you give will be returned to you. And Allah describes it like a loan, right? It's like a loan. You're going to be repaid. And it says kathiran, right? So it's a goodly loan and He will multiply it kathiran, right? Ad'afan kathiran, many times more. Usually in a human transaction, when you give a loan, then you just at least expect exactly the same. If I say, here's $250, all I'm expecting back is $250. But if I donate $250, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may give me back 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 in some different way or some other way He might, repay that to me. He might give me a different blessing or take away a calamity. So there's so many good things that might happen there. Okay, so let me look at the next page. All right, so would you like to stick with me, Maryam?
Yes.
Here it says, Alam tara, have you not seen, ilal mala'i, to the chiefs, min bani Israel, of the Bani Israel people, min ba'di Musa, after Musa, idh qalu, when they said, linabiyyan lahum, to a prophet of theirs, ab'athu lana, appoint for us, malika, a king, nuqatil fi sabilillah, we will fight in the way of Allah. قال هل عسيت, he said, is it expected that you would, and if كتب عليكم is prescribed for you, القتال, the fighting, ألا تقاتلوا, that you fight not. قالوا وما لنا, they said, what is for us, ألا نقاتل, that we shall not fight. What is في سبيل الله, Maryam?
In the way of Allah.
Yes, you see it came again on this page. In the way of Allah, وَقَدْ أُخْرِجْنَا, and while surely we have been driven out. Kharaja is to exit, right? Dakhala is to enter, kharaja is to exit. So while surely we have been driven out, min diyarina. Maryam, can you tell me what is min diyarina?
From our homes.
Very good. So that's 3 words, or 3 parts there, because min is from, dar is home, diyarina, when you say na, that makes it our home. So from our homes, وَأَبْنَائِنَا, and our children and families. فَلَمَّا كُتِبَ, but when was prescribed عَلَيْكُمْ, for them, الْقِتَالُ, the fighting, تَوَلَّوْا, they turned back, إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ, Maryam, what is إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ?
Except a few.
Yes, except a few of them, and Allah alimun bi-zalimin. What is alimun bi-zalimin?
Is a knower of the wrongdoers.
Perfect. So Allah is the knower of the wrongdoers. You did a really great job. Thank you so much. The next hand I see is Manha. So Manha, you can jump right in here. So it says, وَقَالَ لَهُمْ, and said to them, نَبِيُّهُمْ, their prophet, إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ بَعَثَ. What is just إِنَّ اللَّهَ, Manha? Can you just only tell me إِنَّ اللَّهَ?
Indeed, Allah.
Exactly. So that's 2 parts. We have inna and we have Allah. So indeed Allah, قَدْ بَعَثَ, has surely appointed, lakum talut, for you talut. So we heard the name Saul from the from the English translation. It's interchangeable for talut. So in the Quran it's talut. Malikan, as a king. قالوا, they said, anna yakunu, how would it be for him, lahu, al-mulku alayna wa nahnu, the kingship over us, while we, أحق بالملك منه, are more deserving for kinship than he. وَلَمْ يُؤْتَ سَعَةً, and he has not been given plenty, min al-mal, of the wealth. قَالَ, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاهُ, indeed Allah has chosen him, عَلَيْكُمْ وَزَادَ, over you, and it has increased him. بَسْطَةً, abundantly. What is fil ilm, Manha? What is fil ilm?
In knowledge.
In knowledge. What is wal jism?
And the physique.
Yeah, it says physique, or it could mean strength also. Wallahu yu'ti mulkahu, and Allah grants his kingdom. What is mayyasha, Manha? Mayyasha.
To whom he wills.
Very, very good. Mayyasha means to whom he wills. Wallahu sami'un alim. So, I'm sorry, Wallahu wasi'un alim. That means, and Allah is all sufficient, all knowing. Excellent job. Okay, and we just have a little bit more here. It says, وَقَالَ لَهُمْ, and said to them, نُبَيُّهُمْ, their prophet, إِنَّ آيَاتَ مُلْكِهِ, indeed a sign of his kinship, أَيَّأْتِيَكُمْ, is that there would come to you, التَّابُوتُ فِيهِ, the ark, which in it lies, سَكِينَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ, peace from your Lord, وَبَقِيَّةٌ, and a remnant, مِمَّا تَرَكَ, of what left, آلُ مُوسَى وَآلُ فِرْعَوْنَ, آلُ هَارُونَ, so it's from the family of Musa and Harun. تحمله, will carry it, al-malaikati, the angels, inna fi dhalika, truly in that, la'ayati lakum, in kuntum mu'minin, so is a sign for you. What is in kuntum mu'minin, Manha?
If you are believers.
Exactly. In kuntum mu'minin is if you are believers. Okay, you did such a great job. Let me see who else is a volunteer with us. So Rowan, I see Rowan's hand up. Rowan, would you like to join as a volunteer?
Yes, I would like to volunteer.
Very nice. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. It says فَلَمَّا فَصَلَ, and when set out, Talut bil-junudi, with forces, قَالَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مُبْتَلِيكُمْ, he said, verily Allah will test you, بِنَهَرٍ, with a river, فَمَنْ شَرِبَ. What is فَمَنْ شَرِبَ, Rowan?
So whosoever drinks.
Yes, okay. So right here, we can divide this. Fa is so, man means who, shariba is drinks. That's 3 parts. Faman shariba, minhu, of it. Fa laysa minni, then he is not of me. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَطْعَمْهُ, and whoever tastes it not, فَإِنَّهُ, then he is indeed minni, of me. Okay, so his army was not supposed to go near the river and drink. So that was the rule. إِلَّا مَنِ اغْتَرَفَ, except he who takes غُرْفَ, in the hollow, بِيَدِهِ, of his hand. فَشَرِبُوا, then they drank minhu, of it, إِلَّا قَلِيلًا, except a few, minhum, from them. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزُوا, so when crossed it, huwa walladina amanu, he and those who believed, ma'ahu, with him, qalu, they said, la taqata lana, there's no strength for us, al-yawm bi Jalut, today against Goliath or Jalut, wa junudihi. What is wa junudihi, Rawan?
And his forces.
Yes, so as you can see, this word came at the beginning and the top with his forces, and here, forces means like his army of soldiers. Qala ladina, said those who, yadunnuna annahum, knew they, mulaqullah, would meet Allah. Kam min fi'atihi, how often of a group? Qalilan, what is qalilan, Rawan?
Small.
Small. Ghalibat fi'ata, overcame a group. Kathiran, what is kathiran, Rawan? If you can
Large.
see. Large, very good. So kathiran can be large, it can be, sometimes it can mean a lot or so many. See what it says here. وَلَمَّا بَرَزُوا, and when they went forth, لِجَالُوتَ, that means Jalut, وَجُنُودِهِ, and his forces, that's the third time we see this word. قَالُوا رَبَّنَا, they said, O our Lord, أَفْرِغَ عَلَيْنَا, pour forth on us, صَبْرًا, patience, وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا, and make our footsteps firm, وَانْصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ, and grant us victory over the people, the disbelieving people. فَهَزَمُوهُمْ, and so they routed them, بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, by the leave of Allah. وَقَتَلَ دَاوُد, and David killed Jalut, which is Goliath. وَآتَاهُ اللَّهُ, and Allah gave him al-mulk, the kingdom. What is wal-hikmah? Rawan, what is wal-hikmah?
And the wisdom.
Yes, and the wisdom. وَعَلَّمْنَا, and taught him, مِمَّا يَشَاءُ, of what he willed. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ, and had it not been for Allah repelling النَّاسُ بَعْضَهُمْ, the people, some of them, بِبَعْضٍ, by others, لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ, the earth would surely have been overlaid with mischief. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ, and but Allah, ذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ, is bounteous to the worlds. تِلْكَ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ, these are the verses of Allah. نَتْلُوهَا عَلَيْكَ, we recite to you بِالْحَقِّ, the truth. وَإِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, and indeed you are surely of the messengers. Excellent. Very good job, Rawan. Let me see who is going to be our next volunteer. So I'll check. Ted. Oh, Isa. Yes, Isa. Good to hear from you. After Isa will be Ted. Okay, so Isa right here, I hope you can see my screen. Tilka, those. Ar-rusulu, the messengers. فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ, we preferred some of them, عَلَى بَعْضٍ, over others. Minhum man kallam Allah, of them some, with some of them Allah spoke. وَرَفَعَ بَعْضُهُمْ, and raised some of them darajat, degrees. وَأَتَيْنَا عِيسَى ibn Maryama, and we granted the son of Mary, Isa, al-bayinat, clear signs. وَأَيَدْنَاهُ, and we supported him. What is biruh al-Qudus, Isa?
With the Holy Spirit.
Very good. With the Holy Spirit. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ, and if Allah willed, مَقْتَتَلَ, would have not fought each other.
Not have fought one another.
Good. Would have not fought one another. الَّذِينَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ, those who came after the prophets, مِن بَعْدِ مَا, after, جَاءَتْهُمْ, had come to them. What is al-bayinat, Isa?
Clear signs.
Clear signs. وَلَكِنْ اخْتَلَفُوا, but they differed. Yesterday, we had this word اختلفوا, which means, differed. So it keeps coming up with different prepositions and such. Here it says, فَمِنْهُمْ, and of them some, مَنْ آمَنَ, who believed, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ كَفَرُوا, or كَفَرَ, and some of them disbelieved. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا اقْتَتَلُوا, and if Allah willed, they would have not fought one another. Okay, stick with me, Isa, for a second. Okay, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَفْعَلُ مَا يُرِيدُ, and Allah does what He likes. And then here, can you tell me, Isa, right here we say, يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما. So there's 3 boxes I want you to read.
O you who believe, spend of that.
Very good. So right here, يا أيها الذين. So O you who آمنوا, believe. أنفقوا مما. We saw this yesterday. Spend of that. Right there we have 3 words, right? And then, you know, that's a whole sentence. It says, رزقناكم, that we provided you, من قبل, before, أن يأتي يوم لا بيع. A day comes when no bargaining, فيه ولا خله, no bargaining or friendship will come in it, ولا شفاعة, nor intercession, والكافرون هم الظالمون. It is the disbelievers, and the disbelievers are the wrongdoers. So we're talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. Here's some descriptions of Yawm al-Qiyamah. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, there's no more making deals, okay? There's no friendship, there's no intercession. It's kind of like if a teacher gave you a test and you come back from recess, she's handing out your grades, and somebody gets a bad grade, it's too late to go tell your teacher, oh, teacher, please change my grade. That time the teacher's gonna say, I'm sorry, it's too late. You had your chance to study. I can't help you now, right? You know, it's over. And that's what it's talking about, is on the day of judgment, this is a day of no more bargaining, and there's no friendship or intercession. Very good. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Isa, stick with me. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. It says, Allah, there is no God but He, the ever-living, the sustainer and protector. La ta'khudhu sinatun wa la nawm. Neither overtakes him. Oh, wait a second, I'm going a little further, but that's okay. We'll just finish out here. It says, La ta'khudhu sinatun wa la nawm. Neither overtakes him sleep or slumber. Lahu ma fis samawati. To him belongs what is in the heavens, wa ma fil ard, and what is on earth. Man dalladhi, who is it that yashfa'u indahu, can intercede with him, illa bi'idhni, except with his permission. Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim. He knows that which is between their hands, wa ma khalfihim, wa ma khalfahum, and what is after them. Wala yuhituna, and they never encompass bishay'in, anything. What is min ilmihi, Isa?
Of his knowledge.
Of his knowledge. Illa bima sha'a, except what he willed. Wasi'a kursiyuhu, his chair or dominion extends. What is as-samawati wal ard, Isa?
The heavens.
Yes, the heavens and the earth. Wala yu'uduhu, and he does not weary. Hifdhuhuma, upon upholding or guarding. Wahuwa al-aliyul azim. And he is the most high, most great. And we're going to go over this verse again, Ayatul Kursi, inshallah, in the next section. So inshallah, now we're going to switch over. This was, mashallah, we went a little bit further than we wanted to go. Jazakallah khair. I'm now going to go to our grammar section. You guys were really, really great partners, mashallah. Today we are on Unit 8 of the grammar. So let me share my screen again if I can. Okay. All right, so I hope you can see Unit 8. Some of the Kahoot questions are going to be from here. So today we're talking about prepositions. Let me know if you cannot see my screen. It should say Unit 8 prepositions. So what I do, awesome, okay, thank you. So now prepositions can either be attached or separate, okay? So they can be either attached to the word or separate from the word. That is a Kahoot question as well, okay? So we know what a preposition is from English, but we will still get more familiar. So for some examples of prepositions will be ala, which means on, fi means in, an means about. So what are some attached prepositions? If you say li something, that means it's to something or belonging, okay? If you see be something, be, that's like by, with, or in. So one thing about Arabic is the same preposition can have a variety of similar meanings, right? So by, with, or in this case, li is like to or belonging or for. So it's kind of like in the same family of meanings. The letter ka is like, okay? It acts like a preposition. Here's some examples. Li man, that means for who, okay? How about lin nas? That means to the people. So the preposition is li, nas is people, so to the people. Here we go, lillah, for God. Here's some other ones. Qalb means heart. Bi qalbi means with a heart. Bil qalam, so qalam means pen. Bil qalam means with a pen. Bi ismi, ism means name. Bismi, right, in the name. Okay, now let's look at some separate preposition examples. Very simple. I know all of you have got this. So right here, Ila means to. Ilay, okay? So khalfa means behind. Fi means in. Ba'da is after. These are just all prepositions. You can attach them and mix them, match them with anything, okay? An is about or concerning. Qabla is before. Baina, between. Ala is on or against. Ma'a is with. Tahta, under. Inda is at or with. Min is among. Hatta means until. Fawqa means above. Okay, so that's very simple. I'm going to show you the sentences that go with it. I'm going to reshare it just to make sure you can see it. Okay, here's some sentences to give you an example. So it says here, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. Billah, right? Billah, that's a preposition. So seek protection with God from the rejected shaitan. So with is a preposition. How about this one? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bis, be. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Let's look at a couple of other examples here. Bi aniyati min fidda. Bi aniyati, with a vessel. How about this one? Min qabli salat al-fajr. Min qabli salat al-fajr. So from qabl is before. Okay, that's a separate, this one is not attached. It's a separate preposition. The other ones were attached, like li and bi, those are attached. Qabl is not attached. It says here, wa min ba'di salat al-isha, right? And from after the prayer of Isha. So after is a separate preposition. Let's look another one. Wallahu indahu ajrun azim, right? And God is with him, and with God is a great reward. Wallahu indahu ajrun azim. Let's look at another one. Inna dina indallahi al-Islam. Okay, indeed, the religion with God is Islam. Okay, indallah, with God is Islam. How about this one? Inna allaha ma'al sabirin. Indeed, God is with the steadfast ones. Ma'a, with. Salamun alaykum. Salamun alaykum. Peace be upon you. Okay, very, very good. MashaAllah. That was a pretty simple lesson. We have a very simple Kahoot as well today. So those of you who would like to join us, let's get on the Kahoot. Anna K, Nazia, Jenna, Nur Maliha, Muhammad, Amr, Mariam, and Jimmy. Welcome. All right, let's begin. Bismillah. And we also have Tim Timmies. All right. So the first question. True or false? We learned that we must strictly guard our prayers, especially the middle prayer. Is that true or false? Yes, everybody got that right, and the answer is true. We absolutely. Number 3, it says, what is the time period after a woman's husband died called? What is that called? Is it hijra, iddat, janaza, or tawaf? What is the time period after a woman's husband dies? Yes, it's called the iddat time. Very, very good. Okay, true or false? If we fear an enemy, it's okay to skip prayers. Is that true or false? That is false. You still have to pray, even if you fear an enemy. Very, very good. True or false? Prepositions in Arabic are always attached, not separate. Is that true or false? That is false because they can be attached or separate. Okay, great job, everybody. Now let us see how we're doing. So 5 out of 5 today goes to Amr. Congratulations, Amr. 5 out of 5 also goes to Maliha Anjum. You're my superstar, mashallah. 5 out of 5 goes to Noor. Mashallah, I'm so proud of you. And also Mariam and Jimmy. You guys did great too. Thank you to everybody for joining. Inshallah, we'll see you next week. And stay tuned for any sort of a time change. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Jazakumullahu khairan, everybody. Have a great weekend. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.